Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating neuroscience behind top performers. We're pulling some absolute gold from a highly popular conversation between renowned neurologist Dr. Sweta Adathya and entrepreneur Raj Shamani. If you've ever looked at the ultra-successful and wondered how they just operate on a totally different level of mental clarity and stamina, well, you're in the right place. Get ready because we are literally unpacking the actual science of success today.
So let's just address the elephant in the room. Do billionaires and ultra-successful people actually have different neurological wiring in their heads? Like, is there a physical, anatomical advantage that lets top-tier entrepreneurs and athletes stay ice-cold under pressure while the rest of us are, totally overwhelmed? Well, the short answer is yes. But the catch is that this wiring isn't something they're magically born with. It's something they actively build.
To show you exactly how they build it, we've broken this explainer down into 4 parts. First, the billionaire brain difference. Second, mastering your brainwaves. Third, routines for peak performance. And finally, overcoming mental blocks.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the billionaire brain difference and how top performers train their minds.
A lot of our insights today come straight from Dr. Sweta Adathya. She's a top neurologist and the founder of the Limitless Brain Lab. She brings years of medical expertise and healthcare leadership to the table. And what makes her work so incredibly cool is that she maps out exactly how high achievers train their minds for success. She literally proves that your thoughts and your mindset aren't just abstract concepts floating around. They directly shape the physical, structural function of your actual brain.
So what's the core difference? It's actually pretty simple. The billionaire's brain is highly trained. It's optimized and intentionally rewired to tackle tough tasks head-on. Meanwhile, the average untrained brain, it kind of defaults to comfort. It's prone to procrastination and gets drained super fast by overwhelm and anxiety. The top 1% absolutely refuse to let their brains default to that anxious state.
The ultimate goal here, and really the driving force behind Dr. Adathya's work, is figuring out how to activate 100% of your brain power. And no, we're not talking about some Hollywood sci-fi movie here. We're talking about maximizing your focus, your discipline, and your cognitive lifestyle so that literally zero mental energy goes to waste.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 2, mastering your brainwaves and the science of focus and calm.
Okay, to understand brainwaves, we've got to look at the hardware first. The brain is made up of these incredibly complex layers, but top performers zoom in and hijack the power of one specific area, the frontal cortex. This is your absolute powerhouse for logic and decision-making. So when you see a CEO make a snap, high-stakes decision under crazy pressure, you are watching a supercharged frontal cortex in action. Strengthening this specific region is literally the non-negotiable key to building unshakable mental strength.
Now here's where it gets really fascinating. We have to deliberately balance our alpha and beta brainwaves. Alpha waves? That's where the magic happens. They keep you relaxed but intensely focused, making them perfect for learning and peak performance. Beta waves, on the other hand, keep you active and alert, which you definitely need. But if you overwork them, boom, you trigger stress and anxiety. The billionaire brain knows exactly how to downshift into alpha to avoid burning out.
And getting that delicate balance right unlocks what Dr. Adathya calls neuromanifestation. I know that sounds like a trendy buzzword, but it's an actual neurological process. It's where your deliberate thoughts and visualizations literally dictate your brain's physical ability to succeed. By controlling your brainwaves, you are laying down brand new neural pathways that make your goals physically easier to achieve. How wild is that?
All right, let's move into Section 3, routines for peak performance. Let's see how we turn this incredible science into daily actionable habits.
It all starts with timing. You've got to understand your unique body clock and your specific sleep chronotype. High performers don't just work randomly whenever they feel like it. They wake up aligned with their natural biology. They tackle their hardest high-focus tasks midday when that frontal cortex is totally primed. And crucially, they actively wind down in the evening. This drops those stressful beta waves, making sure their brain gets the deep, restorative sleep it needs to physically repair itself.
To jumpstart that daily biological clock, Dr. Adathya lays out this highly effective morning framework called the MOVERS routine. That stands for meditation, observation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, journaling. This isn't just about feeling good, right? It's a calculated neurological warm-up designed to make your frontal cortex stronger and way more resilient the second you get out of bed.
Raj Shamani actually noted how his own routine leans heavily into this.
especially the visualization part. It works as a step-by-step process. First, clear your mind of any immediate stress. Second, use visualization to literally see your ultimate goals. And third, execute the routine consistently. It's that everyday consistency that physically primes your brain to expect and, frankly, demand success all day long.
But hey, even with the best routines in the world, we all hit roadblocks. That brings us to Section 4, overcoming mental blocks, or as I like to call it, fixing the bugs in your brain.
First off, to fix these bugs, we have to admit our hardware is actually a bit different. Dr. Adadia points out some fascinating differences in how men and women process stress. Men's brains tend to compartmentalize things under pressure. They put issues into separate little boxes. Women's brains, though, are highly interconnected, meaning emotional breakdowns, anxiety, and stress are experienced and handled totally differently. Knowing your own baseline is step one to crushing a mental block.
And that leads us to a massive universal roadblock that affects absolutely everyone. We really have to ask, what exactly is happening, neurologically speaking, when we engage in negative self-talk? I mean, we all do it, right? But what is the actual physical cost?
Well, the harsh truth is that negative self-talk physically rewires your brain. It's not just a fleeting bad mood. Every single time you indulge in that overwhelming negativity, you are physically wiring your brain to default to anxiety later on. It drains your mental energy like crazy, making it neurologically almost impossible to perform at that high, billionaire-level standard we talked about earlier.
So how do we squash these systemic bugs? Whether you're trying to break out of the avoidance loop of procrastination, fighting the dopamine hijacking of an addiction, or even trying to bounce back from sensory overloads like physical pain and migraines, the fix is built on the exact same foundation. Overcoming these blocks takes deliberate, structured neurological rewiring, using the habits, focus, and brainwave management we've covered today.
Interestingly enough, during their deep dive, Dr. Adasia and Raj even got into some really unique concepts like aura photography. Now, while that might sound super alternative, they discussed it as a way to visualize the electromagnetic energy field around a person. It's actually a pretty incredible reminder of just how deeply our internal, unseen, energetic states are tied directly to our tangible physical brain health.
Ultimately, Dr. Aditya's expertise reminds us of one absolute core truth. You are not at the mercy of your brain. You are the architect of it. Your daily habits and your mindset, those are the literal tools you use to physically shape your cognitive function.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought. Take a hard look at the routines you engage in, the thoughts you let loop in your head, and the sleep you prioritize. If your daily habits are physically wiring the actual structure of your brain right now, what kind of brain are you building today? Are you building a limitless one or an anxious one? The choice and the science is entirely in your hands.